Young fresh nigga and back in the building once again. You hear what I'm saying? What's happening? It's your boy FX Savant here again, once again, time and time again, my friends. And we back. Another live stream. Monday, Wednesdays, Fridays from 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We in this bit. Oh, I gotta do it all over, huh? But nah. Monday, Wednesdays, Fridays, 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Somewhere within that hour, I'll be going live. So make sure you are subscribed. You turn the post notifications on. That way you do get updated anytime I do go live. I also post some educational content here on the channel, so you want to make sure you get updated on that as well. But what we do over here is I'm going to just go through a few of the pairs that we are really trading. I mean, really it's the USD pairs, so we're just gonna run through those really quick. A lot of them are correlating, so we'll just go through that unless told otherwise by the chat. Now, give me 1 second. Let me get everything set up. Fresh haircut, I know you see that. I know you see it. I know you see it. I know you see it. But yeah, let's get right into it, man. You know, we start out on the USD pairs. We start with some commodities. So if you've paid attention to the last live streams, this won't be too much different. But if this is your first time, I do appreciate you joining in. But we're gonna go right ahead and start it off. We have XAUUSD from the monthly time frame. On the monthly, we've had previous structure resistance, now acting as support is what we would like to see from this area. We are starting to break below some of the structure support, and we're coming back for a quick retest, and that is on the monthly. Once we break and close below, we can see this area being used as the opposite. So right around here it was support, 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 support one more time, and then now that we've broken and closed below, this area should act as some resistance. So if we drop down to the weekly time frame, what can we identify? Same things we pointed out the other day, is that we wanted to see the market come into this area, previous structure support, now acting as resistance, and we just want to see the continuation to the downside. That is typical market structure. You hear everyone talk about higher highs and higher lows, breaking structure, coming back, retesting structure, creating new structure, coming back, retesting structure, creating new structure. This is exactly it, man. We've had previous structure support, broken to the downside, come back, retested as resistance, broken to the downside, created a lower low, found some initial support right in this area, market came back, retested it as resistance, and now we're starting our move to the downside. So if we drop down to the daily time frame, how can we take advantage? We really want to see the market break below this area. We've had previous structure support in this area over here. On this side, we want to see it used as support once again, since we are coming from the upside down to this area. Ideally, if we're looking for shorts and trend continuation, we'd like to see the market break this area and then look for the continuation. So that is what I am looking for. But as it is right now, we do have a impulse up and an impulse down. After an impulse, we would look for or expect a correction of some sort in order to continue the trend. So that is what we have drawn out here. It would be nice to see a little bit of movement in this area and then start to see the sell-off, because that would put us in trend continuation. So that's XAUUSD. We have XAGUSD from the monthly time frame. Now these are correlating pairs, commodities, so they will tend to look the same, but we've had not only one tap into this area, two taps into this area, but three taps into this area, creating a triple bottom. Also, this area is right at previous structure resistance that should now act as support. So we should see the continuation to the upside, and that's just simply from a monthly time frame. If we do drop down to the weekly time frame, you can see we are starting to create higher highs and higher lows out of this market, where it would be nice to see a break above this structure area right in here, this resistance that the market has created, and then from there we can look for the continuation to the upside. But if we drop down to the daily time frame, you can see that we had some area of support that we wanted to see the market come into and reject. We did get an initial rejection right here highlighted by this candle and this wick. The market rejected that area acting as support, but we did not get the continuation, and we're starting to get the break below. Once again, if we do get a tap into this area, it will set us up nicely for a left shoulder, a head, and a right shoulder, and we know after that head and shoulders pattern, a continuation to the downside is quite likely. XBTUSD from the monthly, once again correlating pair, making moves to the upside, coming back and retesting previous structure. So we've had support here, and support one more time, creating a triple bottom on the monthly. But we did have previous structure support that should act as resistance. Just simple market structure, nothing too complicated, and that is what the market has respected. So we did come into this area and we found some resistance. If we look at the weekly time frame, you can see that this is the previous structure resistance that should act, or excuse me, previous structure support on this side that should act as resistance on this side. And that is exactly what we are getting. So we started to make higher highs and higher lows out of this market, but now we're starting to make moves to the downside, where we would likely see maybe a continuation to the downside, creating a double top in this area, not reaching these highs. So we're creating lower highs on the way down, creating lower lows as well. We could see the continuation to the downside. Let's jump to the daily real quick. And from the daily, what can we identify is that we do technically still have the most common pattern in the market intact, which is just a simple break above structure, come back, retest that structure, and then we continue to the upside for trend continuation. But we are so bearish that it would take longer than 1 day to actually break this area of resistance. So as it is right now, just monitoring and sitting on our hands, waiting for either a break above this area for the continuation to the upside, or we could see further sell off, and then we could look for a move to the downside once an important level of structure is broken. US oil monthly time frame, been speaking about it. We have previous structure resistance right in this area that on this side is starting to act as some structure support. Once again, I've said this in multiple live streams. These are monthly candles, so the way that they are today is not the way that they will close. So there will be some movement going into them, but we are starting to break above some structure resistance that should act as support. And not only that, we've got a really big move to the upside with a lot of momentum on this weekly candle coming from last week, breaking above some structure right in this area. So we could see the potential continuation to the upside that we would like to see. Now, last time we spoke about this market, it was starting the retracement, and as we are right now, we are still thanks, Sari. We are still in the retracement phase, which is lining up perfectly with the structure that we could see the continuation to the upside. Now let's slide down to EURUSD. EURUSD is doing exactly what it should do. We've been selling off for a while, and this is on the monthly, just making lower lows and lower highs, lower lows and lower highs, and lower lows and lower highs, moving to the downside. We are actually approaching some territory that we have never seen before, other than the creation of at least this EURUSD chart on TradingView back in 2002. We're starting to approach some of those lows where the market was created. If we look at the weekly time frame, you can see that we've had a previous structure support not only once but twice in this area. Once it was broken through, the market came back, retested that area as structure resistance indicated by this wick, and now we're starting to sell off, continuing the trend of the market, just creating higher highs or lower lows and lower highs, excuse me. If we look at the daily time frame, you can see that this was the previous structure resistance, previous structure support, now turned resistance right here. We're starting to make moves to the downside, and not only that, we are starting to break below some weekly structure. Along with weekly structure is as well daily structure, and we're starting to make moves to the downside. If we did get some sort of retracement back into this area, I will be looking for a continuation to the downside. But other than that, as we are right now, we're starting to make moves. We do have a M formation on the daily time frame that we would like to see completed at the neckline, but more continuation to the downside would be ideal in order to give us a proper setup to go ahead and have a favorable risk to reward. Now, if we drop to GBP USD on the monthly time frame, you can see that we're pushing to the downside quite aggressively. We're in territories we've never seen before, even since the inception of the chart. So if we drop down to the weekly time frame, what can we identify is that on the weekly, excuse me, let me clean this up just a bit. On the weekly, we did have previous structure support that should act as resistance when retested, and that is exactly what we got. Found a level of support right in this area, broke below it, came back, retested that area as previous structure resistance because it was support at one point. And now we're starting to move to the downside, which is kind of ideal following the market structure. So if we drop to the daily time frame, we did have an explosive move to the upside, but it was met by this previous structure that should keep the market below it. And from there, we started to sell off for a few days. Looks like we're starting to make a retracement here soon. That would be ideal for the continuation to the downside, as long as the retracement does end at a favorable area. So we do have structure all through this area right in here that we could see the market come into before we see the continuation to the downside. That is what I will be looking for. AUD/USD monthly time frame moving to the downside quite aggressively, making moves almost approaching some of these lows that we've almost never seen before. At least before I started trading, I've never seen the market down this low, especially against the USD. But if we look from the daily time frame, you can see we are quite overextended to the downside. So trying to look for sell opportunities is not advised until we do get a proper retracement. But a pullback is necessary in order to continue the market to the downside. And if we start the retracement now, this would be a good area to see the retracement in for the continuation to the downside. That is what I'm looking for on AUD/USD. If we jump to USDCAD, you can see that we've just been making moves to the upside, creating higher highs and higher lows on this market. And then we had a explosive move on the monthly to the upside. If we drop to the weekly, we started the retracement last week. Once again, this is a weekly candle. It may not close the way that it is now. We still have 2 days and 2 hours until this candle closes, which we could see the continuation to the downside on the weekly time frame, just to see further movement for the monthly retracement to initiate the monthly impulse to the upside, which would probably come with a daily signal as well. So we're right here amongst these highs on USDCAD. Nothing really to take advantage of, as you don't want to be buying at the highs, as well as you don't want to be selling into resistance, because the market could easily break this level and then it would use your entry as a bounce point and continue higher. So until the market either breaks above this level, which is what I'm hoping for the continuation to the upside, or starts to break this level down here for a continuation to the downside, is what I will be waiting for. More than likely a continuation to the upside with further continuation is what I'm looking for. NZDUSD on the monthly time frame, making moves to the downside, breaking below some structure. We did come back for a brief retracement right in this area, and since then we've been rejected. If we drop to the weekly time frame, you can see that indicated by last week's candle. We had a move up and then the market closed down all the way down here amongst the lows. And if we do drop down to the daily time frame, you can see we're playing around previous structure support, not only once but twice, and it is acting as support one more time for the third time. From here, we could see an explosive move to the upside, and that would just be for some retracement on our higher time frames. So we're extremely bearish on the weekly as well, and then on the monthly we're extremely bearish. But if we did come into some of these previous structure areas, we could see a continuation to the downside. So that is what I'm waiting for on the daily time frame. Just a little move to the upside for a continuation to the downside, which would take a few days or a little bit of time. So I'm not too pressed about NZDUSD for potential trade opportunities this week. If we do look at the monthly time frame of USD Swiss franc, USD Swiss franc, it depicts my teachings to the T. So that's why I take time on this monthly time frame to go and explain the same things that I've been explaining over the past few live streams. If you have not viewed them, go ahead and check them out. They're in the live streams playlist. I advise you to start from the first one and work your way forward, just as I do with anything on my channel. It's just like a journal, it's just like a book. I would advise you to start from the beginning and work your way forward. That way you don't miss any of the valuable content or the nuggets in there, or you don't feel confused if you start right now, because the people that have watched the channel from the beginning, they understand what I'm talking about right now, and that's because I build off each video. So we've previously talked about USD Swiss franc. We've had a nice and easy break above structure, come back for a retracement, retesting previous structure resistance that should now act as support, and from there we just want to see trend continuation for a higher high, and that is on the monthly level. So if we're looking at the monthly time frame and you already know where the market is supposed to go, imagine the trades you could get on the 1 hour or the 15-minute or the 4-hour time frame with that information. So that's what we do over here. Check the links in the description if you do want to learn more about the strategies that I use, which is based off of these live streams. It would be highly appreciated, and I bet that it would be highly valuable for you as well. So if we look at the weekly time frame of USDCHF, just jumping right back into it, you can see that we've had previous structure resistance all through this area. That if it does come back for a retest, it would be nice to see it come back into this area and then start the continuation to the upside. But as it is on the weekly right now, we're just creating higher highs and higher lows. So if we look at the daily time frame, which I did have a student go ahead and take advantage of one of these moves. I've talked about it before as well. Previous structure yet to be retested can expect to be respected. And that's exactly what he did, and found the continuation to the downside. So I'm very, very proud of this guy, Jordan. I don't know if I spoke about him or he's made it into the last videos for a few times, but he is one of the students that has really, really blossomed into a really, really good trader. Now, he didn't start from zero, which is, of course, how I like to get my students, is you know a little bit about the market, you just don't know how to put it all together. I don't really have a beginner-friendly course, but you can still start there, and that will expedite your learning curve immensely by years, even if you just take my course without any pre-knowledge. But if you do have some knowledge about the market and you take the course and you learn the strategies that we use, I have no doubt that you would be a market sniper, a broker's worst nightmare, and prop firm's favorite client, because you always bring in the moolah. But if we did have USDCHF, just looking at it purely from a daily time frame, where we were right here, I do want to highlight Jordan's eye. He identified this market and identified the setup as well. We had a market that was extended over this previous structure resistance that should now act as support. We were right here because it wasn't today, it was actually yesterday. But we were making moves to the downside, and if we look at the hour time frame, you can see that we were kind of overextended to the upside. Break even trade right here. This really made me mad, because it would have been nice 3.25 R at least running right now on the way to take profit, but ended up getting stopped out. That's neither here nor there. We can't cry over spilled milk. But what he did is find some previous structure yet to be retested that should be respected, and he knew that we could counter trend this trade to the downside in order to find a good opportunity to the upside, the way that this market is intended to make and create. Let me actually go to the 4-hour time frame, expedite this. Jordan, if you in here, that was a really good eye you had in finding this setup. But he simply took a nice and easy trade, nice and easy 2-hour trade to the downside, looking at this market based on the strategies that we use. He found a good entry right in this area, and then of course, if we do play it out, it was something like this. Don't want to be too exact. I mean, I'm not trying to be too exact, but he did get the perfect sniper entry as well. And then the market continued to the downside, hitting his take profit for a nice and easy 2R, and that profited him 2% on his funded account as well. So Jordan, really nice job if you are viewing, but that is what is offered in the program as well. It's just the ability to find profitable setups for yourself and understand what you need to do to take advantage of them and the best probabilities. But if we do hop back into the breakdown real quick, one time for the one time, If we drop to the daily time frame on USDCHF, we did come into this area of previous structure resistance that is now acting as support, indicated by this wick and this extra daily candle as well, rejecting from this area. So a continuation to the upside could be possible from this market. So that is really what I would be looking for. It would be ideal to get a second retracement candle for me and the strategies that we use over here before we see the continuation, but who knows? Just further continuation to the upside is what I'm looking for on USDCHF. All the pairs with USD in the forefront will be looking for buys in this breakdown, and all the pairs with USD second will be looking for sells. So that's just how we're going. If you didn't notice that already, I just wanted to highlight that. And then we'll look at USDJPY, just extremely bullish. You can see that we've just been pumping to the upside. Actually, we're in territory we've never seen before on USDJPY. Even from the inception of this chart on TradingView, we've really exploded to the upside. So we're extremely bearish on the monthly time frame. And if we do drop down to the weekly time frame, you can see that we're quite overextended on this market. If we did come back for a retracement, this would be an ideal area, previous structure resistance. That should now act as support right in this area. Same things I preach over and over on this channel, keeping it simple, nothing too complicated, no tricks, no gimmicks here, just pure truths in the market that cannot be disputed. So imagine if you know the rules to a game, how well you can play versus someone who thinks they know the right rules. That's just what we do over here. I only want to give you the real and the raw stuff of the market. Now, we've been waiting for a while for this resistance level on USDJPY to go ahead and be broken. Now that we've gotten the break above, indicated by these several bullish candles, and retracement back down to previous structure resistance that should act as support is ideal for what I'm looking for. So nothing really too serious on USDJPY right now. I mean, if we look at the daily time frame, I don't really want to go too crazy with y'all on these breakdowns, but we do have this pattern here. One of my favorites, one of the ones that we use over at the FX Savant University. And if you have paid attention to 3 videos, maybe even just 3, just watch 3 in the last year and a half, then you will know what I am expecting from this pattern, which is a retracement back down to the neckline in order to further continue the trend to the upside, because now we would be in an impulse retracement impulse phase in the market, which is the most common pattern in the market. On any time frame, you will see an impulse breaking structure, a retracement coming back to retest that structure, whether from the upside or the downside, and then you will see a trend continuation with the market impulsing in trend direction for the trend continuation. I mean, if we're making moves to the upside, the most common pattern in the market would be a retracement back down to this area for a continuation to create a higher high. That's what we do over here. Keep it real simple, real sweet, nothing too complicated, not trying to trick you, not trying to have a secret. It's just the way that you go about the market day in and day out is what separates you from being a professional, a funded, a independent trader versus a trader. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm looking for on USDJPY. It's just a retracement back down into some of these areas, and a continuation to the upside would give us the best probabilities to trade this market. Now, before we get up out of here, we always go over BTCUSD, and then if you do remember from the last live stream, what we were talking about is that on the monthly, still on the monthly, if we're on the monthly, if we're on the monthly time frame, not too much changes, within the live streams, except for the daily, but on the monthly, you still can get some valuable information. It moves slow enough for us to go back and identify what's going on. Now, on the monthly of BTCUSD, we've recently had a level of resistance right in here, and this was before the halving event, which started this whole move to the upside right in this area. We're not supposed to get another halving event until 2024. So as we are right now, we just simply have previous structure resistance that we want to see act as support, which we did get a little bounce out of that area indicated by that monthly candle. But if we drop down to the weekly time frame, we've been held by this 18,000 level, 18,000, 17,000 level. The market is not breaking below that until it actually does. So right now we're not looking for anything really too crazy on this. We're not gonna buy and just hold and hope the market makes a higher high, because we're gonna use logical thinking as well as previous structure with multi-time frame analysis. So we're not supposed to get the next halving event, which propelled the market to these all-time highs last time, until 2024. It's really not until then that I'm looking for the market to make a new higher high, create a new price above the 69,000 price point until 2024 really. But as we are right now on the weekly, we're trapped in between previous structure resistance and previous structure support. So we found resistance in here indicated by these last 3 weeks, and then as well we've had support through here just for a few weeks now. We've came into this area, bounced, made moves to the upside. What up, Matt? What up, my boy? And we're starting to make moves to the upside. It would really take a break above the resistance or a break below the support in order for me to really get interested in this pair. But if we look at the daily time frame, just giving out some nuggets of information right in here, we did want to see the market reject previous structure resistance and have it used as support, but the market failed to respect that level. So we had this drawn out. We had previous structure resistance not only once, twice, but thrice. And then once the market did break and close above that level, ideally with the highest probabilities, you would want to see the market come into this level before creating the next move to the upside. We did not get that, and we started to break down and then create some bearish structure that we are below. So in order to look for buys logically, you would need to see the market break above this level, because this is previous structure support that should act as resistance until broken through. So you want to wait until that's broken through in order to look for buy opportunities, because until that level is broken, the market shouldn't make moves to the upside, and then you would just be gambling. We don't want to do that, but that's really much all we got on the daily time frame. So we either need to see the market start to break back above some of these levels to the upside, or go ahead and finally break below this 18,000 price point, and then we can look for possible sale continuations on this market. But Bitcoin, once again, isn't supposed to have another halving event until 2024. So really until then, I don't expect too much from cryptos. It's supposed to be a cold winter now that we've had this bullish run and then bearish sell off again back down into some of these important levels. So yeah, that's pretty much it on what we got going on today. I don't want to take too much of your time as well. I don't want to waste too much of my time. So we're going to keep it short and sweet like that. Do we have NT pairs anybody want to look at? Got my boy Matt in the chat. I appreciate you, pimping. I don't see too many pairs anybody wants me to go over as well. Once again, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so New York time, I will be having a live stream. Somewhere in between that hour, I'll be going live. So to make sure you do get notified when I do go live, subscribe, turn the post notifications on. And then, yeah, we'll be rocking out like that. So I will be back on Friday. Make sure you tune in. We'll just be recapping what the market did for the end of the week and what opportunities and the direction of where the markets and different USD pairs may go going into next week. Other than that, I don't have too much for y'all. I hope you are having a profitable day on and off the charts. And that's it, man. I got some Amazon packages to go pick up. I appreciate you for viewing if you did stay this long. Once again, make sure you're subscribed with the post notifications turned on. Drop me a thumbs up, man, for consistent live streams. I may not be consistent on my uploads, but my live streams, I make sure I'm there. So yeah, go ahead and drop me a thumbs up for that. It as well promotes the video to other people. If you found some valuable information and you want to share it with somebody, the easiest thing you can do is drop a like on this video. With that said, I'ma holler at y'all, get up out of here. Happy trading.